It is my great pleasure, and I'm very, very happy to welcome President Eric Kaler to our Internationalizing the Campus and Curriculum Conference. I have both the short bio intro and the long bio intro for the President. I think what I really want to say is, number one, how happy we are that he's taken time to come here, and number two, how absolutely delighted the University of Minnesota is to welcome him back. As many of you know, he graduated from the University of Minnesota in 1982, receiving his PhD from the university's Department of Chemical Engineering and Materials Science. President Kaler is himself an internationalized person. He values what we do internationally, and he has been incredibly supportive since his arrival, not only of the GPS Alliance, but of all the internationalization work that we do across the 5 campuses. So please join me in welcoming President Eric Kaler.
Now, in case you think I had a martini for lunch, this is a very wiggly kind of platform, so it's an infrastructure issue. So thank you, Meredith, and good afternoon to all of you. I hope you are having and will continue to have a really successful conference and gathering. And it really is nice for me to be standing at the center of this global universe that we have created at the University of Minnesota. I think this conference is a really important signal to our current students, future students, and the rest of the academic world that we are very serious across all of our campuses in our commitment to a comprehensive internationalization of the student experience, both in the classroom and out of the classroom. It won't happen overnight. It's a process, but I think we are well launched on that process, and I look forward to watching it continue to grow and deepen each and every year. I particularly want to thank Gail Woodruff. Where is Gail Woodruff? There she is, for her work system-wide on the curriculum and campus internationalization. And I want to thank our internal partners who made this conference a success, our Global Programs and Strategy, GPS Alliance, University Libraries, Centers for Teaching and Learning, Office of Information Technology, and UMD's Instructional Development Service and International Education Office. So I thank all of you, and if I miss somebody, just join in the round of applause that I'd like you to give each other. Now, we are, of course, the state's only land-grant research university. The Morrill Act, which established land-grant universities in the United States, is celebrating its 150th anniversary this year, its sesquicentennial, which is an exceptionally fun word to say, and hard to work into Scrabble, by the way. Long associated with agriculture, engineering, the mechanical arts, and actually access to higher education more generally, the Morrill Act is continuously being redefined as are land-grant universities like ours. Now, we continue to make great contributions to agribusiness and to engineering, and I am committed to providing access to this university for all qualified Minnesotans. But as times change and the Twin Cities change, as the world develops, we are becoming a more urban-focused university with campuses in the state's 4 largest cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Rochester, and Duluth. And we are also a global university. A global university must be able to integrate all that we do locally on our campus and in our public engagement into a seamless system, and I think we do that pretty well. Think, for example, of the food safety work and the soil research we conduct at the Twin Cities campus and at Crookston, and other critical work across greater Minnesota through our Extension Service. Now, we have long been able to illustrate our commitment to global studies in many ways, and probably the strongest is our commitment to feed the world and to fight global hunger. But also think of our commitment to the medical devices and breakthroughs that were developed right here, from the pacemaker to the drugs that are used to fight AIDS. And right now we're working on cures of Alzheimer's and diabetes. So those outcomes will affect the world. Our footprint as an organization will affect the world, and we are a global organization. We are Minnesota, and we are here to move this great world forward. We talk about an impact in the nation and an impact in the world, and let me give you an example of that. The Humphrey School's Mary Benasuti has created innovative courses with our neighboring Cedar Riverside community as a global, local connection. We have the largest Somali community in North America as our neighbors on the West Bank campus. To learn about this world and our neighbors, all that our students need to do is walk across the street. And there you can learn about global issues through the lens of immigration and begin to understand the complex cultural interactions that we have. It is a resource and a community that we need to develop deeper and more meaningful relations with, and I look forward to doing that as we go forward. Mary, if you're here, there she is. Thank you. So we have, for nearly 60 years, been a leader in international education. We have followed the traditional path of increasing the number of international students on our campuses and at the same time increasing study abroad enrollments. System-wide, we now have almost 6,000 international students enrolled. And we had more than 3,000 of our students study abroad last academic year alone. Our Rochester campus, which will have for the first time seniors this coming fall, should be proud that 46% of their first group of graduates will have had an international travel component in their portfolios. And in the past decade, more than 1,600 of our faculty and staff have been involved with internationalizing the student experience. Now, I believe one of our core missions is to graduate lifelong learners, leaders and global citizens who understand the world. And there's no better way to do that than with innovative teaching and learning across the system. Let me give you an example. At Morris, we have an innovative program called Stellar that provides a comprehensive living and learning program for international freshmen adapting to the United States and to college. Here in the Twin Cities, we now, for the first time in the history of the university, have the Students Cross Borders residential community in Middlebrook Hall for American-born and international students. And a little while ago, I met Jane Sitter, a CLA first year majoring in English and Spanish who lives there. Jane came all the way from that foreign land we know as Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And she moved in with students from China, Chile, Panama, and Korea, and elsewhere. So in addition to dealing with college, Jane got to deal with language differences, new traditions, and holidays in managing her tolerance quotient. I believe she volunteered the tolerance quotient. And she had to, at the same time, teach international students how to figure out how to translate cheesehead into their native language. So far, so good. Jane, where are you? Thank you. I also know that there are many people on the team that help to develop and continue to make Students Cross Borders a success here, and there are many of them. And so would you raise your hands if you're involved with Students Cross Borders? Okay, good, thank you. I had lunch in Middlebrook Hall not long ago and got to meet other students participating, having a great time. Here's another story from my home college, Science and Engineering, where I received my PhD a long time ago. James Lloyd is going to graduate in May with his second degree, this one in chemistry. His first degree is in German, and he spent his entire sophomore year taking courses at the Technical University of Graz in Austria. I taught a semester at the University of Graz also a long time ago. James worked in Germany too, and he's headed off to medical school at Harvard in the fall. So, James, congratulations, and I hope you take your good German Austrian experience with you when you go. James, where are you? Probably studying. Oh, no, there you go. Thank you. So in closing, let me simply thank you again for all the work you do. Thank you to the students, staff, and faculty for your remarkable work on display here, and I've had the pleasure of looking at several of the poster displays here. And to all of our campuses and departments for their contributions to internationalizing our student experience, a very important part of the University of Minnesota. Engaging locally and having an impact nationally while thinking globally needs to become embedded in the DNA of our great University of Minnesota, and I think we're well on the way to doing that thanks to your good efforts. Thank you, and I hope you have an enjoyable rest of your day.